In 1835, a New York newspaper told the world that scientists had discovered life on the moon. Not just plants, not just animals, but bat-winged humanoids who lived in crystal temples, and the best part, people actually believed it. This wasn't a fringe pamphlet. This was the hot newspaper of the day. Circulation exploded, readers went wild, and Yale professors actually traveled to New York just to get the full story. So today, we're asking, was this the discovery of the century, or one of history's greatest scams? Spoiler alert, if you're hoping for Moon Batman, you're about to be disappointed. To understand why this worked, you have to know the world in 1835. Newspapers were exploding in popularity, especially the new penny press, a whole paper for 1 cent. Cheap, fast, and usually as reliable as your uncle's Facebook post. People were obsessed with science. Astronomy was booming. Just decades earlier, William Herschel discovered Uranus. And his son, John Herschel, was one of the most famous scientists alive. So if you saw an article saying Sir John Herschel just discovered unicorns on the moon, you didn't laugh. You thought, well, it is in the paper, so it must be true. Basically, the 1830s were the perfect time to sell a lie. Here's what the article claims Herschel and his team had discovered with their new super telescope in South Africa. Forests, rivers, and beaches. Basically Earth, but with better landscaping. Unicorns, because why not? Two-legged beavers that walked upright and built huts, which is terrifying. The last thing we need is beavers evolving thumbs. Great herds of bison, so the moon wasn't a bearing rock. It was basically a zero-gravity Texas ranch. The Vespertilio homo, man-bats. When you think of viable spacefaring species, you obviously think of a half-human, half-bat hybrid. That's not science. That's a rejected X-Men character. Oh, and temples. Massive crystal temples, because apparently these moon bat people weren't just advanced. They were also really into aggressive interior design. So how did they see all this moon nonsense? Through a telescope so damn big, it probably had its own zip code. We're talking a 24-foot wide lens weighing 7 tons. For perspective, I consider it a successful weekend if I don't throw my back out on a laundry basket. But shipping what is essentially a scientific cathedral to the ass end of the world in 1835, apparently it was just a Tuesday. And here's the wild part. People believed it. The sun's circulation exploded. Other papers copied the story. People debated what this meant for religion, science, and humanity's place in the universe. Even a committee from Yale went to New York looking for the original reports in the Edinburgh Journal of Science, which is adorable because the journal had gone out of print 2 years earlier. But hey, don't laugh too hard. These were educated men. If it fooled them, you can imagine how the average New Yorker felt reading about moon unicorns over breakfast. Then came the crash. On August 31st, 1835, the rival New York Herald pointed out some tiny problems. Like, the telescope didn't exist. The Edinburgh Journal wasn't publishing anymore. And Dr. Andrew Grant, the scientist behind it all, yeah, he didn't exist either. So how real was all this? Let's be real. The Great Moon Hoax was about as credible as your buddy who swears he's got a girlfriend in Canada. Sure, man. I'm sure she's a model. I'm sure she's real impressed with your gold-plated Fortnite account. So who wrote it? A reporter named Richard Adams Locke. And his motive? Twofold. Sell more newspapers? Check. Mock popular life on the moon theories. Like one writer who seriously claimed 4 billion people lived up there. It worked. Too well. The Sun never issued a retraction. Why would they? The hoax made them famous. John Herschel, the real astronomer, was not amused. Imagine dedicating your life to studying the stars, and suddenly everyone wants to know if you've discovered beavers with thumbs. Locke eventually admitted that it was satire, but by then, the damage was done. The moon was full of Batman in the public's imagination, and the sun was laughing all the way to the bank. So what's the lesson here? The Great Moon Hoax shows us that humans will believe almost anything if you package it with authority and a little science jargon. and some really fun lies. It was the 1830s version of clickbait. Proof that fake news isn't new, it's just gotten faster Wi-Fi. So next time you see a headline saying scientists discovered aliens, remember, you've been falling for this since 1835. Back then, it was unicorns and moon beavers and Batman. And honestly, I kinda wish it were true. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip into 1830s version of clickbait, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing. It helps the channel out a ton, and it tells me you'd rather hear about moon beavers from me than from your uncle's Facebook post. So stick around, we've got plenty more stories just as weird, minus the Moon Batman. Thank you.